Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the last time. Last time on Star Trek, all our yesterdays, it doesn't fucking matter. We're on the last episode. We're on the last one.
It's the last one.
This is the last episode of Star Trek the Original Series.
This episode could be the best one I've ever seen. I doubt that. It's probably just going to be okay in reality.
Yeah.
But even if it sucks, we did it.
We did it. This is it. Fuck. Fun story to tell, I guess, before we do. So as we were recording our last one, now we've been watching all these on Paramount Plus. Occasionally there's like an ad or two before you watch an episode.
It's usually for just whatever.
Whatever
Trek
like
thing happens to be coming out.
Current original show for Paramount Plus they have coming out. But as we did our last episode, there was this ad for a thing called Star Trek Day, and I was like, oh, Star Trek Day, September 8th. Oh, okay, cool. It's the day that the Man Trap aired. Makes sense. Star Trek Day is the day the first episode aired. But we kind of stopped when we saw that. We were like, because we record these on like when I have a free day off work or whatever. And my next day off was September 8th. We're recording this on September 8th on Star Trek Day.
Yeah.
Completely coincidental. We didn't even plan it out. This just happened to be my next day off work. And here I am recording the last episode of Star Trek the Original Series.
On its anniversary.
On Star Trek TOS's anniversary. Star Trek's anniversary in general.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But today we are watching an episode called, this is my final title reveal for TOS. This feels so weird.
What fantastic title does it have?
This is Turnabout Intruder.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's it. That's all the titles. That's it. We're done. That's it. Fuck. That's what's so weird. We'll be talking at the end of this video after we're done with our post-episode thoughts and everything about where we're going with Star Trek after this, and we have some couple cool little TOS celebration things planned after this before we go into our next project. So be on the lookout for that at the end of the video. Be sure to stick around for that. And I guess in the meantime, we're gonna get into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We are about to watch Turnabout Intruder. And that's that.
And that's it.
That is that. That was Turnabout Intruder. I'm glad we ended on this kind of episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was simple, and also just like I remember, like I said during the episode, like one of the first things the first episode where I like really fell in love with Shatner as an actor, just for like what he was The Enemy Within. Mm-hmm. And so we watched this. It's another one where like Shatner just gets to go all out, play like an evil person, and just be insane.
And what I liked about this episode, outside of the fact that we had very questionable opinions right from the gate, that it's an episode almost wholly about the characters and not anything specifically happening.
Yeah.
Because it's all about how these characters know each other.
Mm-hmm. And also like on that, like first off, I'm really sad that Uhura didn't show up in this episode at all.
Yeah,
like, really, really sad that she wasn't in the final one.
As the only member I didn't notice.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else is here. Yeah, all of our main.
Right, I thought so. As the only one not here sucks, but I guess it happens.
Yeah, I mean, we did comment before, like she has been in nearly every single season 3 episode, which is really nice. And otherwise, I want to say the rest of our crew, everyone kind of gets a moment to shine, and it's really, really nice. Spock and McCoy are prominent throughout, as always. Scotty gets that great scene about like mutiny with McCoy. I loved that. Chapel gets her whole sequence with Janice by the bedside. I loved that whole scene. And Sulu and Chekhov get their whole moment where they stand up to Kirk, and Janice, I should say. And I don't know. I love that everyone kind of got their own little moment. And I thought that was really, really cool to have in the final episode, even if I'm sure
unintentionally it's the final episode.
Yeah,
it's actually a really good last episode.
Yeah, it's a good one to end on. Yeah, I think so. It has a story by Gene Roddenberry,
which was our concern.
It's simultaneously both a comment on the glass ceiling, I think, and also just a little bit sexist in how Kirk treats Janice in general.
So it's gotten Roddenberry fingerprints all over the place. Yeah.
But honestly, like I found it really interesting. Like I'm pretty sure there are female captains later on in Star Trek.
Yeah, and Kirk has a line where like Janice wanted to be a captain, but that just isn't allowed.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, she's kind of a psychopath, so she wouldn't have been either.
But the last line of the episode is "if only," and I like to think that even if it's not intended, I like to think that "if only" is if only we lived in a different time.
Like that even Star Trek future great times
Yeah.
is still bad
Star
times.
Trek's like utopian human future is still filled with flaws in that way, and I like that idea. And also, just I don't know how far in the future other shows go, but I'm assuming far enough that Starfleet eventually changes.
And I like that.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea.
I like the momentum of change this show theoretically has.
Yeah. All right, we got our final shirtless Shatner.
We did. We
This
almost
is it.
did not mention it.
This is it. This is number 12, I believe. If not, editing Joey will get it right. But number 12, I think we had 12 shirtless Shatners throughout all 79, 80 technically episodes of Star Trek, because obviously Shatner's not in the cage.
Yeah, obviously.
So only 12 of them, which was less than I expected, but also I am happy with the amount overall.
Yeah, I thought there would be more, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
Which is a weird complaint.
I will still keep the count going for future... do we count cartoon shirtless Shatner is the question.
I'm willing to go with it.
I think we should go with it, and obviously any shirtless Shatners in the movies will count as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. But yeah, for TOS, just for the main 80 episodes, the 12 shirtless Shatners. I think it's a good count. It's a good count.
It's a nice divide.
Yeah. God, I love how just quickly we always go to the whole court-martial thing.
I mean, because this is simultaneously a peacekeeping and very heavily we're the standard military force vibe,
Yeah.
that makes sense on paper.
And also Janice is the villain, so she's gonna be like, oh yeah, we'll go to fucking court-martial.
I mean, she jumps right to execution.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Also, just I don't know. I love that. I love the way that the episode plays the Spock and McCoy finding out about the body swap thing. I thought that was really, really cool. And also just DeForest Kelley being one of my absolute favorite people, my favorite person on this show. Period. Like I can say that with absolute certainty. McCoy's the best one.
He's got so much personality while not being the main character.
Yeah. He plays off of Shatner really well in this one, and he's had just so many great moments throughout the whole show. I think. He's wonderful. Everyone's wonderful. Everyone's so wonderful. I love this entire crew.
Not that I think they knew this would be the last one, but I think they knew they were nearing the end, and they saw this episode as a character piece, and they got it right.
Yeah. There's only one set outside of the Enterprise. It's this very it's a surprisingly personal story, despite it being about mutiny and taking over the Enterprise and all that. It's a surprisingly personal story, I thought. That was just about our character, which makes me even more sad that Ahura wasn't here. Especially because I even mentioned at one point in the episode, I was like, man, if Ahura was here, she'd have this shit figured out in an instant.
I know.
Not this random woman that's... I think we've seen her before. The person that occasionally takes Ahura's place on the bridge.
I mean, presumably they get off times. So.
I would hope, yeah.
God, could you imagine always working?
Right.
But no, like Spock figures it out because he knows James and he knows Kirk and stuff. And then everyone else who knows Spock is like, well, maybe Spock's onto something, because why would Spock believe this if it wasn't true?
Yeah. I do also love in the hearing, there's this beautiful moment where they acknowledge that just weird shit happens all the time, guys. There's this group in the hearing, they're just like, are you trying to tell me that there was a body swap? And Spock comes up and basically says like, yeah, it's happened before. Like, we've all seen our fair share of weird shit happening here, man.
We've all written reports that gotta look like absolute fan fiction.
Yeah, we often joke as we watch this show, it's just like, man, just Kirk must be the most off-the-wall fucking Starfleet captain. like everyone else is just like, went to this planet, logged some, I don't know, random life forms. I don't know, maybe a couple new plants that we saw. Right. Kirk shit comes in, man, I met Abe Lincoln today, man. It was fucking weird.
I met a rock species that forced me to fight Genghis Khan.
It's just like, I don't know, I love that idea that just Kirk just is the most is the biggest outlier in Starfleet. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. It's great.
But he's also got the most efficient hand in the command.
Yeah. But with that, I think that's it.
For this show anyway.
For Turnabout, Intruder, and the final episode of Star Trek: The Original Series. So, I think we mentioned before. Have we mentioned before what we're doing next?
We might have.
We mentioned before that we're doing the animated series next. I know we did that.
We definitely mentioned that.
Yeah, I just dropped my pen. I mentioned before that we're doing the animated series next. So that's our next adventure. We're doing all 22 episodes of the animated series.
It's gonna be so long, I'm sure.
It's not gonna. Yeah, it's after that we're doing the first 6 movies, the motion picture, whatever the fuck the rest of them are called, all 6 of those, and then we're starting the next generation, which is going to be an even longer journey, literally more than double the length of this journey.
I'm very interested because this was the constant recommendation.
Yeah, to just skip to TNG, but yeah. But before that, before we go into the animated series, we have a little treat for you guys next weekend. So our videos usually come out on Saturdays. However, next Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be doing a little something special. Saturday, we're going to be watching The Cage, finally. Next week we're finally going to go back all the way to the pilot. It's going to be fun.
It'll be very fun.
I think I've decided I'm not going to take any notes. I'm going to make it like the old videos, like the very early ones. I'm not going to take any notes, because technically we've seen The Cage before.
We've seen it, yeah.
It's been a while since we watched it, obviously. It was the menagerie.
It'll be like a new watch.
Yeah. But also we're just going to take The Cage as an opportunity to just sort of reflect on things throughout Star Trek, because, this is already a longer video than usual, because we're just talking about the show in general. But we're going to do even more of that next time with The Cage.
Yeah.
And then, on Sunday, we're going to film these longer apart. Don't worry, guys. But you're getting them 2 days in a row, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is The Cage. Sunday, we're going to compile our top 10 episodes of Star Trek the Original Series and do a list of those. Mm-hmm. And that'll be very, very fun. I'm very excited for that.
I'm very excited for that, because there is a lot of good episodes. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very hard to get through the best of them. Yeah,
we're going to try our best to do a combined list, like a collective opinion list.
Yeah.
We're going to see how that goes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, that'll be next week, and then the weekend after, we're going to start the animated series, and that'll be that. And that, my friend, is the actual end of this video and our coverage of the original series. Technically, we got some little things in between. So yeah, it's good. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be a good way to end it out instead of trying to cram it all into this one video. So it'll be nice, I think. I guess that about does it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to join us next week when we finish. To do some extra shit.
I'd say when we continue finishing.
We're going to continue finishing and do whatever with Star Trek the Original Series. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.